Welcome back to Full Power Collectibles, and welcome to a very special deck tech. Today, we're taking a look at my Bloodborne-inspired EDH deck. Chainer Nightmare Adept is my commander. He is a legendary human minion 3/2 for 2 and a black and a red, so 4 mana. Discard a card, you may cast a creature card from your graveyard this turn. Activate this ability only once each turn whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control. If you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until your next turn. So yeah, this is my Bloodborne-inspired deck. Let's go.
I tell you, I will not forget our adage.
We are born of the blood, made men by the blood, undone by the blood. Our eyes are yet to open.
Fear the old blood. I must take my leave.
Alright, just a little explanation as to why I chose Chainer Nightmare Adept as my commander for my Bloodborne theme deck. As you can kind of see from the name here, Nightmare Adept. So obviously Bloodborne is a nightmarish setting, and you have to become adept at that nightmare to survive and to beat the game. Also, we have the graveyard synergies here, which obviously are very important in this deck. There's a lot of creatures I want to put in my graveyard and get them back with this ability, and combos and so on and so forth. So I was hoping to get like a really cool proxy of this card that, you know, was more Bloodborne aesthetic, but haven't found a good one on anywhere yet. So maybe one day I'll get a really cool proxy, but until then, Chainer Nightmare Adept, the regular art, is our commander. Alright, let's get into the creatures of the deck. You see here we have quite a few creatures in this deck. Creature heavy deck. Chainer, the Master. Machias, the Unhallowed. It's a combo card. Triskelion, part of the combo. Necrotic Ooze, also like a backup to our combo. Viscerous here allows us to sacrifice a Scribe 1. Goblin Engineer allows us to get a certain artifact we kind of want out of our graveyard. Magus of the Moon, as you know. Oh, I got this sign too. I forgot about that. But yeah, Magus of the Moon. If you remember Bloodborne, there is a scene where the moon does turn red and a enemy creature comes out of it that you have to fight. So yeah, obviously very mean card, but very fitting. Oh, also the setting of this is kind of fitting with the theme there. If you remember that boss battle, the big creature was in kind of like a pavilion there. So very fitting theme there. Very mean card. Wouldn't obviously include it in a lot of non-theme decks because I'm, you know, but yeah, very on theme here. Garner the Blood Flame. Bone Miser. So this works really well with our commander. Whenever we discard stuff, we get some cool effects. Ravenous Chupacabra kills stuff. Noxious Gearhawk kills stuff. Reassembling Skeleton. So with Chainer, there are a lot of cards that you want to discard. As with its first ability, you need to discard a card in order to play a creature from your graveyard. So Reassembling Skeleton allows us to discard him, and then later on we can get him back out of the graveyard onto the battlefield. Academy Manufacturer, this is what that goblin guy usually goes and gets, because we create food and clues and treasure. Very cool stuff. Croxa, Titan of Hunger's Death, pretty good card. Also kind of like a evil boss monster. Just pick one from the game. They kind of look like that. Squee, obviously another card I want to discard with Chainer to reoccur from our graveyard, because beginning of your upkeep you get this guy back for your hand, so you can discard him every turn to get the effect of your Chainer. Scourge Familiar, discard a card, you add mana. Pretty good ability. Veronica, Distant Scribe, also allows you to discard a card to draw a card. We like drawing cards. Deathbringer Regent, so board wipe. Archfiend of Depravity, very mean card at the beginning of each opponent's end step. That player chooses up to 2 creatures he or she controls, then they have to sacrifice the rest. So very mean ability to control the board once again. Mayhem Devil is kind of like a win con. well, a backup win con with Academy Manufacturer and some other tokens that we can sacrifice to, deal damage to any target with the Mayhem Devil here. Zulport Cutthroat. Obviously, when a creature we control dies, our opponents lose life and we gain a life. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, obviously a great creature to reoccur from our graveyard multiple times to get this triggered ability to drain our opponents for life and gain a bunch of life. Again, Zuifit Osteoharmonist. So this, I like this art. This is really cool. So this is from the new Edge of Eternity set, and it has this tap ability: return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield if it is now a skeleton in addition to its other types. Activate only as a sorcery. Pretty really cool art here. Kind of looks Bloodborne-ish. Looks like one of those summoners from one of those battles I was referring to. Necrogoyf. Alright, this is kind of a mean ability here. Also, it has the Madness ability, so we can discard this card with and cast it for its Madness ability with our commander. Then we cast this as well. So pretty good ability here with our commander. But this ability right here is mean. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card. So this affects our opponents as well. Makes them discard their cards. So pretty good stifling ability for our opponents. Magus of the Wheel. Sacrifice this guy. Each player discards their hand and draws 7 cards. Opposition Agent. I really like this art. This is a proxy, obviously, but look at that. Very Bloodborne-esque there. Opposition Agent obviously pretty much belongs in every black deck. Keeps your opponents from searching their decks. Zulport Cutthroat. And, of course, Kiki Jiki. That's a 2-card combo there. Yeah, I like combos. And that's a 2-card combo that'll win you the game. Valgavoth, the Terrator. This is very reminiscent of Bloodborne for me. Very evil giant creature. So, great enemy boss there. Camber the Plunderer. Whenever a creature and opponent dies, you gain a life and create a blood token. So I have a little bit of a blood token theme going on here because obviously in Bloodborne you have the blood vials that you use for health. So I have a little blood combo and like a dream win where I can win with blood tokens. Obviously that goes with like the Mayhem Devil and stuff with the blood tokens. So we have the Plunderer guy here. Whenever an creature an opponent controls dies, you get 1 life and a blood token. And we got his partner here, Loreen, the Diversion. First strike, sacrifice an artifact or creature, then goad target creature. So this can come in handy. We can sacrifice our blood tokens to goad our opponent's creatures. Alesha, who laughs at fate. Beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, return target creature card with mana less than or equal to Alesha's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, like I said, a lot of graveyard recursion here. The Light Shatterer, whenever they enter, discard up to 2 cards and draw that many cards. So, then whenever it attacks, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, exile a card at random from your graveyard. You may play that card this turn. Like I said, a lot of graveyard synergies. Ivora, the Insatiable Heir, also a blood token generator. Prosper, Tomebound, has a, it just gives you card advantage because it lets you exile the top card of your library. Then you may play that card until your next turn. And then whenever you play a card from exile with Prosper, you get a treasure token. So, very good little card there. Sidisi, the Regent of the Mire. Sacrifice a creature you control with a mana value X other than Sidisi, then return target creature with mana value X +1 from your graveyard to the battlefield to activate this ability only as a sorcery. So, yeah, like I said, the graveyard synergy on top of graveyard synergy. Vial Smasher, the Fierce. Pretty good whenever you cast your first spell. Each turn, choose an opponent at random, then Vial Smasher deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to player or planeswalker that opponent controls. Blade Wing, Deathless Tyrant. Just a big mean dragon. Flying in haste. Whenever it deals damage, For each creature card in your graveyard, create a bunch of Zombie Knight tokens with Menace. Gonti, the Night Minister. Whenever a player casts a spell they don't own, that player creates a treasure token. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller looks at the top card of that opponent's library and exiles it face down. They may play that as random as long as they're main exiled. Mana value may be used as any color to cast spells this way. So, pretty fun little chaos kind of card. So this is not just whenever you deal damage, whenever a player casts a spell they don't own. Well, whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of my opponents. So as long as they're not attacking me, as long as my opponents are attacking each other, they get this advantage here. And obviously whenever I deal damage to my opponent, I also get this advantage here. So this kind of incentivizes my opponents to attack each other. Grave Titan. I love this card. I've loved this card forever, since way back in the black-blue standard decks. So, big, giant Grave Titan. Whenever he enters the battlefield or attacks, you get some zombies. Cardu, the Doom Scourge. Whenever he enters the battlefield until next turn, creatures your opponents control cannot attack. Attack each combat if able, and they attack a player other than you if able. So, pretty much goads all your opponent's creatures, and then whenever a creature dies, attacking creature dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Anger, it's a really good card to discard with our commander. Gives all of our creatures haste as long as we control a mountain. Anji, the Maid of Dishonor. Whenever Anji, the Maid of Dishonor, other vampires enter the battlefield under your control, you get a blood token. Sacrifice another creature or blood token. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So if you have enough mana and you can sacrifice enough blood tokens, you can kill your opponents. Mirkwood Bats. Whenever you sacrifice a token, each opponent loses a life. So this is a really good synergy with our treasures and blood tokens. Drain our opponents. Olivia, the Crimson Bride. As you know, there's some vampires in Bloodborne, and so I have them represented here. So we have our rooftop villain here that we fight. Streffen, the Progenitor, and Olivia, the Crimson Bride, are our vampires here. This guy is a blood token guy. At the beginning of your end step, create a blood token for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever he attacks, you may sacrifice 2 blood tokens. If you do, put a vampire card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Obviously, I don't have a lot of vampires in this deck, but I do have a way to make all my creatures vampires. So as long as I have that card on the battlefield, I can use this ability to put pretty much any creature card from my hand onto the battlefield tapped. So yes, those are the creatures of the deck. Next, let's look at the artifacts. A ton of artifacts in this deck. Have an Altar of Dementia. Sacrifice a creature, then you can mill. Target player puts a number of cards equal to that creature's mana value on top from the top of their graveyard, from the top of their library into their graveyard. So you can mill yourself or you can mill your opponents. You have a Soul Ring. Obviously, you have to have a Soul Ring. Arcane Signet. Obviously, you have to have that. And then the Maskwood Nexus. This is what allows me to pretty much make every creature in my deck a vampire. Creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Also allows you to pay 3, tap it to make a shapeshifter. Alright, next up we have the Sorceries. So this is an amazing Rise the Dark Realms. So you put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. Obviously, quite hefty mana cost there. Beautiful artwork there. Definitely a win con in this deck. We can mill our opponents, we can mill ourselves, then we get all the creature cards back. Bone Shards, Faithless Looting, Dreadbore, Blasphemous Act, Beacon of Unrest. What's unique about this is Put target artifact or creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Then you shuffle this back into your library. So this is a reoccurring card in your deck. It does cost a little bit, but I kind of like it for that recursion there. Diabolic Tutor, so yeah. Black, like to tutor for things. Gamble. Red also likes to tutor for things. And if it goes in the graveyard, it's not the end of the world in this deck. So as long as it's a creature, we can obviously get it back with our commander. So Gamble isn't the worst in this deck. Power Word Kill. I really like this art. Dismember. Seems pretty fitting for a Bloodborne deck. Phyrexian Reclamation, then we're on to the enchantments now. So this is a pretty interesting enchantment. Only costs 1 mana. You pay 1 in a black and then 2 life to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So worst case scenario, if you don't have anything to discard with your commander, you can use this ability to get something out of your graveyard that you can then discard. So pretty good. And obviously we have a Blood Moon. Like I said, there's a Blood Moon in the game. So here it is on the card. Arterial Alchemy. Alright, so this is a really unique enchantment. It enters the battlefield, create a blood token for each opponent you have. Blood tokens you control are equipment in addition to their other types. And they have equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has equipped 2. So this turns all your blood tokens into equipment. So that's pretty fun. So you can just suit up one of your creatures or your commander with a bunch of blood tokens and then swing for the game. That's the dream, of course. That's highly unlikely, but very fitting for a Bloodborne deck. Last but not least, we have the mana here. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 basic swamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 basic mountains. Command Tower, Opal Palace, Buried Ruin. Rix Mahdi, the Dungeon Palace. Drossforge Bridge, the Blood Crypt. Memorial of the Folly, Dragon Skull Summit. Rakdos Guildgate. And the Song Mad Treachery, which does have a flip side of a land, and that is the mana base. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously, I love playing Bloodborne. I almost have the Platinum Trophy. I'm so close. Have 2 endings left to get, and then I think I have to collect all the hunter weapons, and then I'll have the Platinum Trophy. Oh man, it was such a fun game, and it's really fun to have a deck themed around it. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a comment, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. If you enjoy these playlist videos, I do have a tab in my playlist that has all the other deck techs in them. I do have Melania from Elden Ring. I have a deck around her, so if you want to check out my playlist tab, yeah, you can find other deck techs in there. Until next time, adios.
Are you cool? Oh, good hunter.